Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Angie Reinecke, and I am the Scholarships and Grants Specialist at Bellevue University. In honor of Financial Aid Awareness Month, Bellevue University and the Education Quest Foundation in Nebraska have teamed up to create Financial Fridays, a series of 5 20-minute webinar sessions designed to provide you the information you need on financial aid. This is the last session of this series. Today's session is verification demystification. I will be providing information and answering some of the most common questions as it relates to the verification process. Throughout today's session, I encourage you to type your questions and comments into the Q&A box. The moderators will track your questions and I will address them live at the end. If you have questions related to your specific situation, we ask that you include your name, email, and phone number so that we can follow up with you directly to ensure your questions are fully answered. Before I start, I want you to know that you can hear me, but I cannot hear you. This is because we are recording this session so those who were not able to attend today can view it at a later time. If you would like a copy of today's presentation and recording, a link will be emailed to you following the webinar. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. So what is verification? Verification is the process your school uses to confirm that the data reported on your FAFSA form is accurate. Each school can vary in the way that they complete this process, but I will provide a general overview of the process during this presentation. If selected, your school will request additional documentation that supports the information that you reported on your FAFSA. And I will go into further detail on what types of documentation that may be required, including documentation that Bellevue University specifically may require. Do I have to complete verification? If you wish to receive federal aid, you must complete this process. This includes the Pell Grant and any state grants that you could qualify for. You will not receive any federal aid if you don't submit the required documentation and complete this process. I think sometimes students don't realize the importance of verification and ignore document requests, and then they realize that they are not receiving any federal aid, and then charges accrue, and then past due balances happen. Don't be this student. How long does it take to complete the verification process? Once you have turned in all documentation, it should take approximately 10 business days to complete. But please keep in mind that each school is different and their timelines may vary. Why did I get selected? First, it's important to not assume that you did anything wrong. A lot of students are notified that they were selected for verification and they panic as they think that they did something wrong and the government is coming after them. Don't think this. Nearly 1 in 3 students are selected, and the majority of these students are selected at random by the Department of Education when their FAFSAs are submitted. Additionally, some students are selected by the school to correct any potential conflicts of information. How do I complete this process? If you are selected for verification, you will be notified via email. This notification will be sent to your Bellevue University email. If you have not been assigned a student email yet, it will be sent to the personal email that you had listed on your Bellevue University application. Any required documents will be assigned to you as to-do list items on your account. Instructions on how to complete these items and where to submit these documents will be included in this email. If you have any questions regarding these documents, the financial aid department will be able to provide clarification, and their contact information will be included in that initial notification email. Examples of types of documentation that you may need to provide typically includes family information, such as how many family members are in your household, tax transcripts, W-2s, and more. This is an example of a verification worksheet that Bellevue University will typically request from students. You can see that family information is requested, including the household size and the number of household members that are currently in college. On the second page of this worksheet, you could see that tax information is requested. Once this worksheet is completed by the student and submitted to Bellevue University's financial aid office, our verification specialists will review it to ensure that there are no discrepancies. If further information is needed by the specialist an email notification will be sent to the student. Remember, you will not receive federal financial aid if you are selected for verification and you do not complete this process. To see if you were selected for verification, review your university email or personal email if you have not been assigned a student email yet. If selected, review your to-do list for required documentation and submit those documents as soon as possible. If you delay this process, it will delay you receiving financial aid, which could cause you to have a past due balance. The sooner you complete this process, the better. And always feel free to reach out with questions as soon as you have them. Again, the sooner you have your questions answered, the sooner you will have completed this process and the sooner you will receive your federal aid. If you have any questions, I have included some contact information and additional resources in the next slide. Questions. If you have any questions related specifically to Bellevue University's verification process, please feel free to reach out to our financial aid office as they process all verification documents. I have attached their email address and phone number to this slide for your reference. There's also additional information related to Bellevue University's verification process listed on our university website in the attached link. The Education Quest Foundation is also a great resource to utilize if you have questions regarding how to complete the FAFSA or the verification process. You can reach them at this number or gain further information at their website, which I've also included here. I would also recommend reaching out to the Department of Education if you have any questions regarding how to complete the FAFSA or verification process. You may access information from the Department of Education at the attached phone number or at their website, which I've listed here. We will now open up the session for any questions that may have come in. As a reminder, if you have a question or a comment regarding what was presented, please type them into the Q&A box and our moderator will read them aloud. Jonna, do we have any questions?
We do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, we have a couple.
Okay.
So the first question is, how do I know if the email I received to send my checks transcripts to is legit and not a scam to get my personal information? So essentially, I think they're asking if they receive an email, how do they know it's really about verification and someone's just not trying to get their personal info?
If you're concerned about that, I would recommend reaching out to the financial aid department directly. And for Bellevue University's financial aid email address, it's finaid@bellevue.edu. So it never hurts to reach out to the financial aid department directly and just ask them to verify the email that you had received, and they'll be able to confirm or not if it's legit.
Okay, that's good, because I could see that being something that people would be concerned about.
Of course.
Okay, another one is, so the example you showed of the verification worksheet, you said that was for Bellevue University specifically. So is this what other schools use too, or would it be a different form?
It would likely be a different form. Each school kind of varies in their own process, so they may have customized their own document. But that is just an example of Bellevue University's verification, worksheet. I'm sure a lot of schools have the same kind of format where they're requesting the same types of information. So, information related to family size and tax information, but that specific document that I showed you is just for Bellevue University.
Okay, great. All right, and there's another one. Is there a financial aid limit that a student can receive funds for? So I think this is more about when a student is packaged, maybe wanting to know about the limits. Now, it didn't say specifically for loans or for grants here, but I think maybe they might be asking in general.
Generally, there are limits in the amount of federal aid that a student can receive for each aid year. It depends on a lot of different factors, such as your dependency status, if you're dependent or independent. It depends on the information that you submitted on your FAFSA, your what's called the expected family contribution, the EFC. That'll determine the amount of grants that you can receive. So it really depends on a lot of different factors. I would really just start with submitting the FAFSA and then letting the financial aid department kind of review your information, and then letting you know what your limits can be for that year.
It, and just kind of as a follow-up, so
Mhm.
each year though, there would be a limit to an amount of grant money and or loan money based on all those factors that you mentioned, but there is a limit each year.
Yes, that's correct. The Department of Education sets a limit in the amount of grants that a student can receive each year. So there is a cap on the Pell Grant. For loans, there is a cap for each aid year, and that amount can increase the further in your student career as you get. It does depend on a lot of different factors, but there are caps for each aid year that you attend.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And one other question. So if I'm selected for verification 1 year, will I get selected again the next year?
It could happen. It's not a definite thing. You could luck out and not get selected the next year. Like I said before, it's really random selection. So if you are selected for 1 year, you can be selected again for the next aid year. You could not be selected for the next aid year. It really depends on if you're selected at random or if there's any kind of discrepancies that may be on your FAFSA.
Okay, so it just depends.
Exactly.
Okay. And another question.
Sure.
So, does Bellevue University allow students to make payments if they don't qualify for grants or federal aid loans, or if they don't want to take out loans?
Yeah, Bellevue University does offer payment plans. You would just have to get into contact with our student accounts department and they could assist you with that.
And I would assume other universities may have some sort of process for that type of thing as well.
I would assume so. Like I said, each school kind of varies in their own processes, but I can imagine other schools do offer payment plans. That is kind of a common thing.
Okay, wonderful. I think, let me double check. That might be all the questions that we've gotten. We've got quite a few questions.
Perfect.
So that's good. But I think that's all we have for questions now. So I think, oh, wait, I'm sorry. We got another one. This is
Oh,
great.
yay.
This one is, can anyone apply for scholarships?
So specifically to Bellevue University, there are some limits on the types of students that can apply. But generally, if you're an undergraduate or graduate student, you can apply as long as you're meeting certain basic criteria. So if you look on our website, we have information related to like basic criteria that would allow you to qualify for scholarships. And that includes like a GPA minimum, an expected family contribution minimum. So, like information that describes your financial need. There's different factors, but generally, yes, I would say that any student can apply. There are just select few that would disqualify you from applying, but that information is described on our website. And if you do have specific questions related to your eligibility, please reach out to us at scholarships@bellevue.edu. We would love to answer your questions.
Yeah, thanks for including our email. We can definitely help out there.
Yeah.
I know this person was actually then specifically asking about PhD programs.
Oh,
So they must be maybe a candidate for a PhD or maybe looking at attending either our university or another for maybe a PhD program. So, um,
yeah.
so I don't know if you want to go ahead and answer that, or I can answer that too.
I can give a little information on that. So specifically for PhD students, there are opportunities available. For PhD students, it's a little bit of a unique process. You have to get into contact with your faculty member, and your faculty member will describe the process for how you can apply, what you should apply for specifically. They can really guide you through that process.
Yeah, so it's typically set up for those that are doing research. The PhD scholarships at Bellevue are research based. So yes, you would talk to your faculty mentor, and you would have to be in your second or third year, not a brand new PhD candidate into the program. So that's a good question,
Yeah,
though.
that is a good question.
I appreciate the person answering that or asking that. So definitely reach out to the faculty mentor. And honestly, if people are looking at postdoc programs, at other schools, whatnot, it really varies because when you get to that level, And Angie,
Mhm.
you'd probably agree when you get to that level, it starts to become a little bit more scarce.
Yeah.
Different types of opportunities when you're at that level and you would just have to inquire at the school specifically. But Bellevue University does have about 6 different ones, but you have to work through your faculty mentor to
Mhm.
apply for one that may be applicable to you based on what research you're doing.
Mhm.
Those are good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that is all the questions we have. So I think we're good.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you all for attending the verification demystification webinar and all of these financial aid Friday sessions. This session concludes the series, and we hope that you found them helpful. As I had previously mentioned, all of these sessions were recorded. So if you were not able to attend a previous session that you believe would have been useful, please contact us at scholarships@bellevue.edu for these recordings. We'll be happy to send them over. Last, I did want to mention that Financial Literacy Month will be held in April, so be on the lookout for future programs related to that topic. Thank you and have a great rest of the day. Happy Financial Aid Awareness Month.